Hi folks, Rodney back again. Today I'm going to cover a couple issues that I've had here recently, and as I promised when I first kind of started the channel that I would give you kind of an ongoing ownership experience. So the other day I walked out of the house. Granted, it was cold, so it was probably in the, I don't know, 25, 27, maybe 28 degrees. Anyway, I started my vehicle from inside using the remote connect and walked outside, noticed that the windows were already defrosted, and went to get in the vehicle. Well, when I grabbed the door handle like it would normally unlock automatically, it didn't unlock. And so I kind of thought, well, that's a little strange. And so I tried it again a couple times. I tried using the key fob to get it close to the door to make sure that wasn't the issue. Still wouldn't open up. So I ended up having to take the key out of the key fob, put it in the door, and unlock the vehicle and then get inside. And when I went to try to start it, it wouldn't start. And so I thought, well, gosh, that's really weird. So I thought, well, maybe, maybe number one, the actuators were frozen on the doors because it was cold outside. And so I took the key fob, I held it up close to the ignition, and it still wouldn't start. And I'm like, man, this is really strange. I haven't had this issue before, but it wouldn't do anything. And so I thought, well, I'm going to try again. I'm going to try to start the vehicle with my my phone app using a remote connect, and truck started right up and no issue. I'm like, man, this doesn't make any sense. And so I hit the door locks, doors wouldn't unlock. Or excuse me, they did unlock, but then it set off the alarm. I'm like, what is going on? So tried to start the vehicle again, still wouldn't start. So I jumped back out of the vehicle, put the key in the door lock, thinking maybe I could shut off the alarm that way, and that didn't do anything. So I got back in the vehicle, the alarm finally shut itself off, because it does after a certain period of time. And obviously I live in a neighborhood, so I'm like, oh great, everybody thinks I'm trying to steal a vehicle. But anyway, I got back in the vehicle, still wouldn't start. So I started again a second time with my remote connect, and it started right up. So I'm like, okay, I'm not quite sure what's going on with the truck, but for whatever reason, it's not starting. So I thought, you know what, I'm gonna try the extra key fob just to make sure. Now, normally on a Toyota vehicle, if your key fob battery gets low, it will come across the dash letting you know ahead of time before it gets low, but it didn't do that in this case. So went in and got the other key fob, came back out, and sure enough, started right up. So the point I'm trying to make here is that for whatever reason, whether it be cold, what have you, now I've had the vehicle, it's been almost right at a year, and the key fob battery was already dead. So with no warning, this could have been really bad. I could have been out somewhere, because like I said, last night I drove it home, everything ran fine, started up fine, no problem last night, but today without warning, it just wouldn't start because the key fob battery was dead. So I would watch, make sure that you either take a second battery with you, or if you're going off somewhere, let's say for instance you're going camping or you're gone somewhere, you're going to be away from home, I would take the second key fob with you just in case. Now I talked to the parts manager, and he's the one to replace the battery in the key fob for me, and he says, oh yeah, he says Toyota, when they went through these new key fobs, they changed the battery that was coming in them. And he said, we're having quite a few issues with several different key fobs that have that same battery. So I would be aware, and like I said, you don't want to be stuck somewhere. Fortunately, I was at home, so it wasn't a big issue, but you don't want to be stuck out in the wilderness somewhere. The second issue I'm having, or have had rather, is I did a review not long ago. I put some KO2 tires and I ran across the pass in the snow. And I was out there shooting some video and had to make a quick trip. Anyway, when I got back home, I had filled up gas just before I came back over the pass. And when I got back home, it showed almost full. And I'm thinking, well, I drove 120 miles and there's no possible way it could be full. 5 of the guys in our dealership actually have Tundras. 4 out of the 5 have all had the same issue. And what's taken place is the gas gauge, for whatever reason, is getting stuck and it's not reading proper, so it may show full when you might be down at half a tank. Fortunately, they've all reset themselves after a couple days, but I want to make sure that people are aware of that so they don't get stuck somewhere thinking, or run out of gas. Somebody could jump in the vehicle not knowing that, hey, that gas gauge is not correct, and run it down to half a tank and end up running out. So like I said, it did reset itself. I'm sure that if the issue came up, you could probably disconnect the battery and then it would probably reset itself right then. But like I said, after a couple days, it did reset itself. So kind of keep that in mind. Obviously, these are not issues that I like to share, only because I love my truck. But I did promise you just true ownership experience, and so I don't want anybody to get blindsided with this. Another thing I'm going to mention, in our last round of allocations, we did get quite a few more Tundras. And so in this round of allocations, we have 20 gas version Tundras coming in, and I think we had 9 hybrid models coming in. And that's more than what we've received in quite some time. In the past, we've not been able to sell to out-of-state customers. The reason for that, Toyota was kind of pushing us to take care of our own local community. And because we were so limited on allocations, we wouldn't have enough vehicles to sell out of state or take care of our own community if we were to sell out of state. So now that we've got a few more allocations coming in, they've kind of give us the go-ahead where we can start selling out of state. But it does have to kind of be an easy transition. So for instance, number one, we don't ship any vehicles, so you guys would have to come here to make the purchase. And two, you know, it would have to be in a timely fashion. So if we knew that, for instance, the vehicle was going to come in this coming Friday, you know, they wouldn't want to wait longer than a week after the vehicle comes in to kind of make that sale. So anyway, if you guys are looking for a Tundra, we don't have any markups on the Crew Max gas versions. We do have a markup on the hybrid models, but if you're looking for a vehicle and I can possibly help, feel free to go ahead and reach out to me. I think that pretty much covers it for today. Thanks again for taking the time to watch the videos. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. I do have weekly content coming out, as I mentioned before, and I've got some other reviews on different models. So, you know, if you guys are looking for a Sequoia, I've got a couple reviews on Sequoias in there already. You know, there's new models coming out for the 4Runner, the Tacoma. So like I said, if there's anything that I can help with, any questions you might have, feel free to send them my way. And thanks again for watching. Have a great day.